Today I am going to explain the female reproductive system. Female reproductive system consists of a pair of ovaries, a pair of fallopian tube, also called as a pair of oviducts, single uterus, single vagina, external genitalia. The external genital organs of female includes external to the vagina and also called as a vulva, a pair of vestibular glands and a pair of mammary glands. Now here, first upon we discuss the first part of female reproductive system, that is a pair of ovaries. Ovary. It is the primary female sex organs. Its main function is the production of egg or ovum, and also it is responsible for the production of female hormones. It is solid, oval and also almond-shaped organ. It is 3 cm in length, 1.5 cm in breadth and 1 cm in thick. It is located in the upper lateral part of pelvis nearest the kidneys. Each ovary is held in position by these ligaments by attaching it to the uterus and also the abdominal wall. The largest of these is the broad ligaments formed by hold of this peritoneum. It holds the ovary, oviducts and also uterus to the dorsal body wall. The ovarian ligaments attaches ovary to the uterus. The ovary produces 5 hormones such as estrogen, progesterone, relaxin, activin and inhibin. Structure and development of the ovary. Each ovary is compact structure differentiated into central part called as medulla and outer part called as a cortex region. The cortex is covered externally by a layer of germinal epithelium. The stroma or loose connective tissue of medulla has blood vessels, lymph vessels and also the nerve fibers. The outer cortex is more compact and also the granular. It shows large number of tiny masses called as ovarian follicles. These are collectively formed from the immature ova originating from the cells of dorsal endoderms of the yolk sac. The cells migrate to the gonadal ridge during the embryonic development and divide mitotically. Now these cells are also called as oogoniums. As the oogonia continues to grow in size, they are surrounded by the layers of granulosa cells. Now form the rudiments of ovarian follicles. The process of oogenesis starts much before the birth of female baby, and by the end of 12 weeks, the ovary is fully formed. It has more than 2 million primordial follicles in it. The cells of germinal epithelium give rise to the primordial ovarian follicles. Each primordial ovarian follicles has its center a large primary oocytes surrounded by a single layer of flat follicular cells. The primary oocyte starts with its meiotic division but get arrested at the meiosis 1. Of the 2 million primordial follicles embedded in the fetal ovary, only about 1 million remain at birth and only about 40,000 remain at the time of puberty. The large-scale destruction of the primordial follicles during growth is called as atresia. The development of primordial follicles into mature Graafian follicles restart with onset of puberty. During each menstrual cycle, only one of the primordial follicles start growing to form the Graafian follicles. In each cycle, alternately one of the two ovaries produces the Graafian follicles. The first menstrual cycle or menarche begin normally at about 13 years and menopause, that is stopping of the cycle, happens at the age of 45 to 55 years. The period in between menarche and menopause is the reproductive age of the female, and it is approximately 32 years. In this time, the female will be producing a maximum of about 416 eggs. Ovarian histology of mature female. In the histology of ovary, we have discussed the primary structure of ovary. The following discussions include the changes seen in a mature ovary, primarily in the cortex. The different stages of development of oocyte can be seen. These changes in the ovary are cyclic, occurring during each menstrual cycle, and it involves maturation of primordial follicles into primary follicle, secondary follicles, and Graafian follicle. Each primary follicle has multi-layered cuboidal follicular cells. The stroma cells add theca over the follicle. It now changes into the secondary follicles, and granulosa cells increase in number. They start producing the hormones called as estrogen. The secondary follicles goes into the Graafian follicles. Now here, by the addition of Graafian follicles, more follicular cells are going to increase. As this process of maturation of follicles take place, they begin to move towards the surface of the ovary. The Graafian follicles presses against the thin wall of the ovary, and after that they are giving it a blister-like appearance. The egg is released from the Graafian follicles, and this process is called as ovulation. And the remaining part of follicles changes into a temporarily endocrine gland called as a corpus luteum. If fertilization does not take place, the corpus luteum start to degenerate and convert into a white scars called as a corpus albicans. Structure of Graafian follicle. This Graafian follicle is a mature ovarian follicle. An eccentric secondary oocyte is surrounded by non-cellular layer of cells called as a zona pellucida, secreted by the Vitalian membrane of this oocyte. The outermost protective and fibrous covering is called as a theca externa. Inner to it, there is theca interna. This theca interna produces the hormones called as estrogen. Inner to this theca interna, there are some follicular cells. These follicular cells called as membrane granulosa cells. These membrane granulosa cells are lie just inner to the theca interna. From the membrana granulosa of the cells differentiated into discus, proligerus, and corona radiata cells. Cumulus is a term used for the oocyte and surrounded granulosa cells. A fluid cavity called as a antrum lies between the oocyte and the membrana granulosa cells. It is filled with a fluid called as a liquor folliculi. In this diagram, we can easily observe the liquor folliculi.